Madhubani, an Indian art originated from the Mithila district of Bihar. It is believed that the people of Mithila are blessed with an inborn art. Mythologically, it is said that every celebration of Sri Ram and Sita Maya was epicked by Raja Janak with many Madhubani artists. Traditionally, these paintings are done by using natural elements like the soil, the pigments produced from the flowers, the trees, the natural black lamp color, and many others. It was traditionally painted on the walls of the home by using twigs of the trees and brushes made from hair. There are 5 main kinds of Madhubani. The first one is called the Bharni. The word itself says to fill. Any shapes, any motifs which were made were filled with the colors from the natural elements. The second one is called the Kachni, meaning lines. Here the designs, the motifs were filled with small or big horizontal, vertical or diagonal lines. The third one is called the Tantric Painting. This kind of painting mainly depicted different shlokas or different symbols of the mythological importance. The fourth one is called the Godana Madhubani. The very simple meaning of it is to insert the ink into the other base, mainly like the tattoo that was done with the lamp black color. The fifth type is the Kohbar art. This kind is very rich in their designs. It has symbols of all the mythological importance. It has the stories depicting various celebrations, and every part of the design has its own importance. Now, if you notice all these Madhubani art, you will see that the basic style here is the double-lined motifs. Every border, every shape, every element has these double lines. Let us try to make this Madhubani card today while we learn a bit basic things about Madhubani art. So to start with, I have taken this hard card paper of 4 inch by 6 inch when doubled. Let us start to learn the simplest design of Madhubani, that is the borders. So I am marking 1 centimeter on all the 4 sides and I'll be making a border. I am using a small sized artist pen from Faber-Castell. I have given a border, thin border here, as you know, basically these arts, they are not 3D arts. They are a linear art, or it has only 2 dimensions. So by giving borders, they always separated one motif from the other, or this is how the highlight of the art is being given. Let us give a design in the border now. I am going to make a wave-like structure. So let's say some curves on alternate sides of the border and such waves all around. Now you can first finish off drawing it with pencil and then highlight it with a black pen. Also give the double line to this. Here we'll do the Bharni. which is filling. So I'm using direct sketch pens here. You can even use paint colors. So I have filled, that is, I have used the bharni in the upper part of the waves, the curves that I've made. And on the other part of the curve, I made such partition using double lines again. And the best part of this art is, at any point you can convert any design into a motif. I'll just show you how I convert the wave here into a floral motif. So after doing this, I just made this wave below, and I'll just invert it and show you. Can you see this looks like a bud, a flower? So what I'm doing here is I'm making a wave like this. So now basically these are looking as if there are buds on the border. So now I have two parts wherein I can do the bharni. So I'm going to use two colors. Let's say blue here and green on the upper part. So this was the bharni design. Next, let us make a diya in the Madhubani style. So I have first drawn the diya with the pencil. Now I am giving it an outline. Of course, not to forget the double line borders to all. Now we are going to do the kachni here. So I have divided the earthen lamp with double lined curves like this. So I have divided it in 4 parts, and now instead of filling it with color, that is, instead of doing the bharni, I will fill it up with kachni, that is lines. So instead of leaving the borders plain, I added these small lines inside it. Instead, you can add such horizontal lines as well. Next is about filling the other empty spaces. As we did in the borders, we just filled it with colors. Here, in the kachni style, we have to fill it with some shapes. So I am drawing circle shapes here, again with double lines. You can draw the same shapes here, or you can even try some different kind of shapes. Let's say instead of circles, I made such triangles, and again all over these triangles I gave them double linings. The same fill can be used using colors as well. Generally, kachni is, if colors are used here, they use either 1 or maximum 2 kind of colors here. So I filled up this part. Instead of shapes, I just added lines in crisscross patterns. So this is how they fill it up. You can use lines in any angles, instead of crisscross, you can use such vertical lines. You can also use horizontal lines as well. Let's say here I am using the orange color, and the second color that I'll use is let's say red, and with red I'm just filling up the yet empty spaces inside the circle. Instead of coloring it completely, I'm just drawing these slanting lines. And also above the triangle. Let me show you how I made the diya. To begin with, the double lines I added, filled it up with circle shape here inside. Now I'm going to do the kachni and bharni both in the same shape. So that was the first step. And then I divided the lamp, the diya, in 3 sections using a vertical curve coming from the top to the bottom. Next, I gave the slanting lines again on both the side, both the parts of the shape. And in the center, I further divided that part into smaller designs by using double line curved. I decided to add a yellow color to the borders and fill up the remaining part with the triangles and yet lines inside it. No part in Madhubani art is left empty. So I'm going to divide the background in 2 sections. One, let's say a ground or a tile where this diya is kept, and the other one is the sky. I'll use double lines to divide them. And turning the scale diagonally, I'll start making such parallel lines the whole section below. I'll do the same thing by turning the scale in another angle and thus make the square or rather rhombus shapes. I'll fill them with kachni and bharni using 2 colors. Next, I made random cloud shape and gave double linings to it as well and colored it in blue. To fill up inside and outside of the clouds, I made these lines as if they are the ripples inside the cloud and outside the cloud. So that's our card, and here this is a very simple type of bharni, bharni and kachni both. Let me bring one thing to your notice, that this is a very basic card to explain what Madhubani is. However, it takes weeks and months and years of practice to actually master the real Mithila art or the Madhubani painting.